everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm going to be talking all about why I have been really enjoying the Canopener, not just pay to win but also free to play, and why this tank just absolutely slaps inside World of Tanks. Or should I say, it kind of gives a double slap in a way. And wasn't that like a Pokemon move? Goodness gracious, that's a blast from the past. What is it, Jigglypuff had like double slap or something when I was like 10? This is like 27 years ago in Pokemon Red. Goodness gracious. Anyway, let's get back on the matter at hand, and that is the Canopener in World of Tanks. This thing's just an absolute beast. It's the latest tier 10 heavy tank inside the game. Went in December, I believe, or January, with a whole tech tree of British doubles. Starts with the Chopper at tier 7, then you go to the Conceiver, the Contender, and then you get the Canopener. And honestly, these vehicles, they're great. They're great. They're all great across the board. I think you might struggle a little bit at tier 8, but that's probably not because of the tank. It's probably more because just tier 8 matchmaking feels really awful in the game right now, irrelevant of what server you play on. I've been having really no much more fun with Wargaming's enhanced matchmaking at tier 8 than I have been playing on EU2 with the regular kind of matchmaking. So, the Canopener. What's good about this vehicle? Well, one of the things that's outrageous about this vehicle is the accuracy inside the single shot mode. Now you see that I'm using a bond aiming device and I'm using bounty vents as well, and this gives this thing ridiculous accuracy. And that's because the gun handling of this vehicle, it's not great in the single mode. It's not great, not at all. It's 0.16 when turning and when moving, and 0.12. So let me clarify, that's not great, and a lot of people will actually want to use vert stabs on this vehicle. However, for me, with this tank, you can just sit still so long, and unless they're kind of like overmatching the top of your vehicle, as we can see with the, or just catching the top of my weak point there, with the 60 TP. Just having this crazy accuracy with such a god tier turret with 260 millimeters of armor, I can afford to sit still for a while, whereas when I play something like a Super Conqueror, especially if they've got heat, I'll have very many issues if I sit still for a long time. And it's also the case when I'm playing the T110E5. On those kind of tanks, I kind of want to use vert stabs because I want to try and keep like my weak point moving. Because if you sit still, you're going to have issues. But on this vehicle, I feel like, because inside the double mode, it has no dispersion. It has 0.01 dispersion. So there's no point of having vert stabs on this tank when you're inside the double mode. A lot of people think that the double mode is this like magical, mystical randomness. It's really not. All that happens is your accuracy gets horrendous. It goes to like 0.12 base. And now everything that you can do to try and improve that 0.12 base means the doubles go from being a huge chance to being something that you can depend on just a little bit more. And so the bond aiming device on this vehicle, which will improve your accuracy by, I think it's about like 9%, 8 or 9%. And the vents, which are going to improve my accuracy with bounty vents by about 4%. These stack up, so you actually get to a stage where your doubles are reasonably accurate. They're still inaccurate, don't get me wrong. It's kind of like you're playing more of an arty, or it's kind of like you're playing a KV2 that has a broken gun. But when you're at short to mid ranges, like anything lower than 100 meters, it doesn't really matter too much. And at about 200 meters, you can still make it work. And by having the double stack of the accuracy, which will go up by another 5% with a premium consumable, and then you can take Armorer, for example, on this vehicle on your gunner to be able to stack that up again, you can actually get the accuracy of this thing inside the double mode down to like 0.9, which it's still bad. But because you have perfect moving dispersion values and turret traverse dispersion values, the vert stabs just have no value at all inside the double mode. And so if you're someone who seems to fire a lot of doubles in these tanks, yeah, definitely try the aiming device and the vents. It's definitely been working out for me on this tank, as we're going to see here. And we come around the corner with the double and we launch it and catch them. Perfect. And I'll take the 300 hit points there. It could have been a disaster, I guess, if he'd managed to pen my lower plate, but in a close game like this, I feel like we just got to let the chips fall where they may. And that's also why the Canopener is so exciting of a tank to play. Because you do feel as if you're rolling the dice each time. Some people don't like RNG in World of Tanks. I'm one of them when RNG is not going in my favor. But I have to admit the Canopener can be absolutely fun and hilarious to be able to play as well. with regards to the RNG. And I just realized after that, BZ58-2 just got 2-shot by a DBV. Yeah, maybe we don't want to go down that alleyway. And it's so quick that this battle has turned, right? Looked like, oh, we can go and we can farm, you know, chance my hit points against the FV215B183, try and have a big boy game here. Already up to 5,000 combined and 4 kills, but there's a lot of meat left on the table to fight for. However, you know, pushing down that alleyway, that's really not going to work out. And you'll notice this thing's reverse speed, it's not ideal. Interestingly enough, though, the reverse speed is just as fast when you're using the double as when you're not. So you can do this kind of like rolling retreat and surprise your opponents with like an 840 alpha damage splat, right? Or slap in this case, right? How can she slap is what a lot of your opponents will be asking when the Canopener unleashes their double. And I'm hoping that maybe we can get the double on the DBV, but I noticed the KPZ's coming from behind. Of course, I still want to engage singles at this range. Hopefully that manages to hit them. We spot them on full health. Will we have a blind shot there against the KPZ50T? Maybe, possibly. And this situation is starting to look dire. We're in a 3 versus 4, a full health DBV, and the enemies are up by like nearly 2,500 hit points. But luckily that DBV, what, hiding our lower play, he's struggling right now. And he's out the game! And firing a single into a double when you can finish off your opponents would be my recommended play. Now, of course, if you can pen doubles, you should, because a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, right? Or in this case, 2 slaps instantly, better than 1 slap later on. And so if we can go for doubles here, we're going to take him. 900 against the Hori, and now he's kind of starting to get closer to being a one-shot. But this Kampfpanzer was managing to put heat rounds into our side. And it looks like we have indeed managed to blind fire that Kampfpanzer unless somebody else did. I'm thinking, should I go for the Kampfpanzer? Shall I not? Keep moving. Hopefully he's not going to find me. Boom, baby. And that was actually a little bit of an overkill. The WT Alpha Panzer IV bails me out of that situation. The Kampfpanzer comes forward. I'm going to tell you another little thing about this tank. It's actually a very heavy vehicle. It weighs 90 tons, meaning that we can actually ram our opponents there for 124. Enter the double, and boom, baby. There we go. We destroyed half of the enemy team. GG to you. Razro on our team as well in the WT Alpha Panzer IV. Couldn't have done it without you with that big boy gun at the end. And this was just a beautiful combo, right? Of having the big boy TD, but they really wanted to get rid of the Canopener. And that was a big mistake. 7,000 damage, probably 7.5 including the blind shot on the Kampfpanzer, and 7 kills. Ah, chef's kiss. Love this tank. And it's just so fun for brawling in those kind of situations. Absolutely wonderful vehicle. Well, considering that this tank has the double barrel, you know, we got to have a double helping of gameplay today. This time, we're going to be in an all tier 10 matchup on mines. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about Canopener strategy. And interestingly enough, I've decided to take the turbo rather than the durability on this tank. I think that's a little bit of a mistake. But maybe what I was thinking about was the pain that we're going to get from the RT. But talk about pain. 2 Mach Manticore. 888. I won the slots there. The Manticore now down to a fraction of their starting hit points. And I was just hoping that maybe that was going to help my team to be able to win the hill. Unfortunately, the 13105 looks like they put in some valiant damage against the 121B and the EBR. But we lost both of our lights. Whoa! Oh, sorry. I was just taking a look at the hill there, and you missed me trying to do a very chancy shot against the Buitzgavitzer that definitely didn't work out there. And look, don't get into too much of a bait with this vehicle. Only go for the doubles. Still, when you're kind of like 70, 80, 90% sure that they're going to work out. Otherwise, trust me, use the singles in this tank. Even if you do get the Bond or bounty aiming device on this vehicle, even after you've got the field mod that improves the accuracy, even if you are using a premium consumable and you're deciding to use vents on this vehicle as well, and you've got armor on your gunner, you're still only getting kind of like that 0.9 accuracy. A lot of people also seem to be quite confused with the way that the reticle changes, and they just can't handle it mentally. Well, let me tell you that you just need to imagine that that reticle is just a visual thing. I don't really see why Wargaming didn't do it and they didn't just put like a big pineapple reticle on the screen. Maybe it's because of the way that the doubles visually adjust and it would be confusing for the player. But my recommendation for all of you is to just imagine that it's a regular reticle in World of Tanks. Just point the center at it and then fire. And remember, as I said, with the double, you have 0 dispersion, so you don't need to wait to fire if you're fully aimed. one of my biggest tips with all of the double barrel tanks as well that have this British mechanic is that if you want to enter the double, if you stop for just a second and aim, where you've got better aim time, which is only 2 seconds with your single, then the accuracy transitions between the shots when you change to enter the double mode. So what that means is that if you're fully aimed in your single mode, as you enter the double mode, you'll be fully aimed immediately in the double mode, and then you can move the reticle around as much as you want. That's not how you play World of Tanks, Mr. Canopener, but good try. We put one into them, we transition to a double, and wow, I mean, there's gifts and then there's gifts. What a massive misplay by the Canopener on the enemy team. I don't think that they perhaps wanted to fall over that edge. I don't think they were pushed by the 279E. If they were, that 279E is definitely not going to be friends with the Canopener for very long. But I didn't see. You'll have to rewind the video and take a look to see if there was any dastardly tactics by the enemy team there on the hill. But yeah, as I was saying, so the aim time in the double is horrible, but it has no bloom, no dispersion. So if you're fully aimed before you enter into the double, you'll be fully aimed and immediately able to fire the double as well. And you can move the gun around as much as you want, even without vert stabs, for absolutely no penalty inside the double. Oh, I should have aimed that for just a little bit longer against the IS-7 there. And am I going to go for a double on this guy, or am I going to go for single right now? Probably just go for the single in this situation, because I don't have a very, very big target to hit. But you know what? If he's still going to mess around like this, maybe we should go double. So yeah, that's a big shot on the lower plate. Boom, baby, 904. And this is what's so strong about this tank. Sometimes firing a single and then launching a double is just so powerful. Because the way that this gun works is you can't fire a single until you're fully loaded. And so if you fire a double and then go for a single, you might as well almost double and then double. Because unlike an ST2, for example, where you can fire a single and then launch a double, which this can do, the ST2 could fire a double and then reload a single barrel and fire a single barrel to finish off their opponents. But if you fire a double in the Canopener, you have to wait for 20 seconds before you could even fire a single. And remember, when both barrels are loaded after 20 seconds, you kind of might as well fire a double, but that won't make sense if your opponent is on like 300 hit points. So let me clarify. If you can manage to fire a single and then pen the double, it's actually the fastest way to get rid of your opponents. Unless you were to, I guess you could, yeah, because there's no point in firing the single at the end. You should do a single into a double if you see that they have about 1,100, 1,200 hit points. Of course, if you're going to manage to penetrate both of those shells. So the Canopener for those kind of situations, man, it's just this. It's almost like a jab 1-2, right? But the 1-2 is delivered at the same, so it's almost as if. Dude, why am I thinking about, like, this is a blast from the past as well. Rumble Man for let's get ready to... I can't say that. I'll probably be copy striked by Bruce... Is it Bruce Buffer? No, Michael Buffer, sorry. Bruce Buffer's his brother, right? It's Michael Buffer. I don't think you can say that. You can't say that. Or is it that you can't say that unless you're in a ring in Las Vegas would be illegal? Something like that. I don't know where the patent is. Anyway, there was... let's get ready to rumble boxing. If I say it in that tone of voice, I'll be fine, right? On the Dreamcast, and I think like Rumble Man would like do a double kind of clap. Man, I think I'm not sure if I told this story on YouTube, but I definitely told this story on Twitch. The one time where I actually damaged some gaming hardware was when Rumble Man beat me one too many times, and I kind of like Hulk smashed the Dreamcast. And if anyone remembers how the old gaming consoles were, they were like clams, where the console would be like that, and then the top would lift up, and then you'd put the disc in and close the lid. So I smashed it. It didn't destroy the Dreamcast, but it definitely didn't do it any favors. It still works. It's downstairs, but unfortunately the laser's gone a bit, so it only plays certain games, which is so sad. But considering how much I love the Dreamcast. Talking about like the Dreamcast, and talking about the Switch 2 was just announced yesterday, right? And it's kind of funny seeing how the Switch 2 is like Nintendo's presenting it as so many awesome features that have kind of just been on so many other consoles in the past, right? Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the matter at hand. And I want to pause, and this was one of the most important parts of the replay that I kind of just warbled over. Okay, so the 279E, whether he's the villain or not, we're not going to discuss that right now. He's holding the hill. He's got 2 RTs. And if there's one thing the Canopener doesn't do well, it's take shots from RT. Multiple shots from RT. I'm going to get stunned. I'm going to get tracked. The enemies are holding the hill. So in this kind of situation, the game is incredibly close. We have 1 RT, they have 2. And I was thinking to myself, all right, the T57 Heavy's just gone up. He's lost all his hit points. The IS-4 wants to go up as well. Why would we push up onto the hill against these players who just want to kind of like hold this position? Quite rightly, that's how you should win mines. How instead can I put myself into this battle where I negate their advantage and also try and get maybe some dangerous but low health autoloaders into the game? And that was, why not attack down here? It seems so simple, right? Nobody would push down here. But the way that I saw the battle, all they can have is like a UDES at the back. They've invested their entire team on the hill. They got their RTs. One of the RTs is in a position where he can be a little bit funky to be able to get some crossfire over, deeper around the corner. But can they stop me from doing this? That's the question. All right, Mr. Object 261. In this situation, I just decide to fire a single early. The UDES gets me in the side, but that's okay because we managed to start to dig out the RT and also spot the UDES. And look at this, some nice assistance damage coming in. I turn, hopefully we get this RT again. Oh no, not quite. And while we did 8-8 damage to a Manticore earlier, we just did 7-7-7. Spotting to the UDES now. Wow, I'm winning the slots all the time. Hopefully we're going to win a few more slots with our double barrels towards the end of this battle. So the Object 261, unfortunately, is still there. I know that there's an RT in that position. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the RT's location. And I've been doing this quite a lot recently to just see when, for example, this rock is going to block me from the RT. And so you see that I was looking over towards the left and just making sure that he doesn't do that. The RT comes around the corner and, I mean, it's ambitious. It's ambitious. You know, fair play to you. He's trying to win. Fair play. And you see how this game has now just completely changed. It's gone from being a disaster where there was no hope for us to be able to push up on the hill to now we're using a position that a heavy would never really usually push because of the tank destroyers up there and RT to be able to punish them, but oh well. So the 279E gets a good shot into my back. I've forced him off the hill now, which is great. Artillery hits me again, boo-hoo-hoo. And are we going to fire while we're stunned? We got to, right? I tell you what, I probably had about 1.3 accuracy there. But I'm not going to complain about winning the slots with that shot on that GW100. And now with the flank secure, this game's still close on hit points. We're only up by 1,000, and 500 of those will be an RT. But we've got guns in the game. We're all low health. That 279E is very healthy, and that 279E is coming after us. But do you think he considered about my autoloaders? Doesn't seem to be the case. He's actually going to stop and engage the Bat Chat and the Progetto. And I don't want to get spotted right now because I want him to actually keep going up there so he gets shot by my my autoloaders a little bit more. And hello. That was a bit of a pickle surprise. Another blast from the past. What's up with my brain today, right? As that 279E just got pickled a little bit. Oh man, I love this tank from that position. From able to just land that alpha damage. It's so crazy to be able to have singles and doubles. And the 279E now just completely caught out. Made a big bold play, but it was not big and not bold enough. And no, we are not friends. I'm not going to give you this battle. And ladies and gents, just like that, we are up to, what is that? Can't count that high. 9,300 combined that we have seen. And it was just, it was the play that won the game. The play that won the game. Fabulous. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous stuff. Unfortunately, we're not going to get any more. And that's why I like the Canopener. It just has all of these different aspects that just makes the tank so fun and also just so capable of winning these engagements if you're a smart player with using the double barrel. So, the Canopener gets a firm recommendation from me. Do I think that it's completely bonkers OP? It's very, very good. That's true, but it does have its limitations. So don't think that you're going to get this vehicle and suddenly you're just going to be winning every single one of your games. That's not the case. You're definitely going to have to work for it. But I think it's a very friendly line that also still has a lot of fun to it. I think if you're a very, very good player, this will be a good tank of opportunity to be able to prove yourself. And I think if you're a casual player, there's enough to still have a little bit of a giggle about this tank. But I think also that poor players and below average players will probably get themselves into more trouble with this vehicle than actually benefit from the way that the double barrel works. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, those were 2 massive ace tankers for the Canopener. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And let me know what you think about this British beast in the comments down below. Have you tried it, just couldn't manage to make it work? Or do you absolutely love it? And if you're watching this video as it's released on, what is it, Friday today? Feels Friday, man. Then I'm going live all day on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby with brand new drops tokens. So come get closer to getting your Dickomax or your SU85i for free. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.